There's a moment in every man's life, a moment he never forgets, a moment when the world stops looking random and starts revealing its structure, a moment when you finally see the game for what it really is. Most men never reach that moment. They live and die inside the story they were given, a comforting script written to keep them predictable, obedient, and harmless. But you're here because something inside you refused to stay asleep. Something inside you sensed the world wasn't operating on the rules you were told. And you were right. Today, we're going to talk about what actually happens the moment you wake up, the moment you see the hidden architecture of power, the moment you step out of the illusion and into the truth. And the man who revealed this truth 500 years ago was named Niccolò Machiavelli. Welcome to Machiavelli's Code. Let's begin. 1. The moment the illusion breaks. Let's begin with the moment everything changes. The moment you finally wake up. It never arrives with lightning or applause. There are no warning signs, no grand revelations. It comes quietly, almost silently, usually after life hits you in a way you didn't expect. Betrayal from someone you trusted, failure after you did everything right, or a disappointment so deep it forces you to see the world without filters. You work harder than everyone, and someone lazier gets the promotion. You stay loyal. And that loyalty becomes the very thing someone uses to control you. You play fair, and watch the people who bend the rules rise faster than you. And in that moment, something inside you shifts. You stop blaming luck. You stop blaming fate. You stop blaming yourself. Instead, a new question forms. A dangerous question. What game am I actually playing? Machiavelli understood this moment better than anyone. He wrote that wisdom doesn't come from victory. It comes from the wounds life carves into you. Because those wounds don't just hurt. They reveal. They crack the illusion you were raised in. They force you to see the hidden structure beneath everything. The quiet deals, the invisible hierarchy, the rules no one talks about but everyone follows. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You stop asking, why is life unfair? Because now you understand something deeper. Life was never designed to be fair. It was designed to be played. And only the ones who finally open their eyes ever learn how to play it well. That moment, the moment you stop living in the story you were told and start seeing the world as it truly is, that is the real beginning of power. 2. The truth they never wanted you to see. For centuries, entire institutions fought to bury Machiavelli's work. Not because it was dark, not because it was dangerous, but because it exposed a truth they never wanted ordinary people to see. It didn't teach evil. It revealed how power really operates. He pulled back the curtain. He showed the backstage, the whispered alliances, the invisible hierarchies, the levers that move the world while everyone else watches the surface. And when you finally see the game, a shocking realization hits you. You were never meant to be powerful. You were meant to be manageable. From the moment you were a child, you were fed a script. Work hard. Be polite. Obey the rules. Don't question authority. Good things will naturally come your way. Beautiful ideas, but designed to keep you predictable. Because the real world doesn't reward innocence. It rewards awareness. It rewards strategy. It rewards the person who sees what others ignore. While you were taught to chase approval, those in power were taught to understand leverage. While you were told to be humble, They were learning how influence is built behind closed doors. While you were taught to wait your turn, they were learning that turns are taken, not given. Once you recognize this, the entire landscape flips. The world stops looking like a morality play and starts looking like a chessboard. You realize that success isn't random, respect isn't given for kindness, and opportunity doesn't fall from the sky. It's created, negotiated, seized. This is why Machiavelli was feared. Not because he taught manipulation, but because he taught clarity. And clarity is dangerous. The moment you stop believing the stories designed to keep you small is the moment you begin to step into a different life, one where you understand the rules beneath the rules, the game beneath the illusion, and once you see it, you can never go back. 3. The world is not fair. Fairness is a story designed to keep you obedient, a comforting story, a safe story, a story that asks you to wait quietly for rewards that never come. Machiavelli saw through it 500 years ago when he wrote, "Fortune favors the bold." Not the moral, not the patient, not the polite, the bold. And when this truth finally sinks in, something inside you breaks open. In the best possible way. You stop waiting for your turn. You stop hoping someone will notice your efforts. You stop believing the universe is secretly planning a miracle just for you. You wake up, and instead of standing on the sidelines of your own life, you begin to move with intention. You take initiative, not because it's safe, but because waiting is far more dangerous. You create opportunity, not by begging for chances, but by positioning yourself where power actually flows. You stop reacting emotionally and start moving strategically, and that's when everything changes. People treat you differently. Doors open that were once invisible. Opportunities appear that never existed when you were passive, not because the world suddenly became fair, but because you stopped acting like a spectator and finally stepped into the arena as a player. Life respects those who act. It bends for the ones who move boldly. It reveals itself to the ones who understand that fairness is optional, but strategy is not. The moment you embrace that truth, you stop waiting for life to reward you, and you start shaping it with your own hands. 4. Liked is not respected. Modern society trains you to crave approval like it's air. They tell you that being agreeable makes you loved, that being soft makes you accepted, that saying yes makes you secure. But Machiavelli exposed a truth most people never want to face. Respect is built through boundaries, not smiles. People don't admire the man who bends at every request. They admire the man who stands firm, the man who knows where the line is and refuses to let anyone cross it. There's a world of difference between kindness and submission, between being a good man and being a convenient one, between being respected and simply being liked enough to be used. When you finally see the game clearly, you realize something uncomfortable. Your hunger to be liked is the greatest weapon ever used against you. Think about it. Every time you let someone talk down to you because you don't want conflict, every time you stay silent when someone disrespects you because you want to keep the peace, every time you tolerate bad behavior just to avoid tension, you are writing a manual that teaches people exactly how to treat you. And once you teach them, they will not forget. Respect is never accidental. It is not luck or charm or good intentions. Respect is engineered. It's built through boundaries, through standards, through the quiet strength of a man who knows his worth and doesn't negotiate it. When you stop living for approval, something powerful happens. People start responding to you with a level of seriousness they never showed before. Not because you became aggressive, but because you finally stopped being easy to bend. This is the shift Machiavelli understood. Those who chase approval lose themselves. Those who build boundaries gain the world's respect. 5. Appearance versus reality. One of Machiavelli's most profound truths is this: most men live their entire lives trapped in the world of appearances. They react to what is visible, what is said, what is convenient. Only a rare few ever live in the world of truth, the world beneath the surface. You see the rules written on paper, but you never see the rules actually being followed. You see the hierarchy, the titles, the positions, but you don't see who truly wields influence. You hear words, promises, and reassurances, but you rarely hear intention. The moment you finally awaken to the game, something changes. You stop taking everything at face value. You stop being naive. You start watching the patterns that others ignore. You start seeing the incentives that drive behavior. You start noticing the actions that reveal truth rather than the words that conceal it. Machiavelli wrote that a true leader must learn to read human nature as it is, not as we wish it to be. And when you begin to do that, you reach a point where deception loses its power. You stop being manipulated by appearances, by empty gestures, by the charm of clever words. You learn to anticipate motives, to recognize hidden agendas, to understand the currents running beneath the calm surface of any situation. This is the awakening that separates spectators from players, observers from masters. The moment you see beyond the illusion, you become almost untouchable, not because you are invincible, but because you are now awake, and the world no longer hides its rules from you. 6. Comfort is the new chains. In Machiavelli's time, power was enforced with force. Rulers controlled through fear, through armies, through punishment. Today, the game has changed. Now, rulers use comfort. Comfort is the new prison. Entertainment is the new sedative. Distraction is the new leash. The world has transformed into one endless amusement park, designed to keep you busy, distracted, and harmless. Social media, endless shows, notifications, quick pleasures, all carefully calibrated to keep your mind soft, your ambition dulled, and your instincts asleep. But here's what they didn't count on. Some men see the trap. The moment you finally recognize how comfort has been used to tame you, something inside shifts. You stop craving ease. You stop choosing the path of least resistance. You start craving discipline. You start seeking challenge. You start respecting struggle. Because struggle sharpens, it teaches, it separates the strong from the complacent. You begin to understand that comfort is not rest. It is weakness in disguise. The soft life makes you predictable, moldable, ordinary. Discomfort, on the other hand, builds resilience. It forges strength, sharpens strategy, and awakens your presence in a world of sleepwalkers. The men who dominate, the ones who shape reality, they do not avoid difficulty. They do not chase ease. They embrace it. They train themselves to thrive in adversity. Because the moment you choose discipline over comfort, the world begins to respond differently. Opportunities that were invisible to the distracted now appear. People who once overlooked you now sense your power. The path to influence, to respect, to mastery, opens only to those willing to endure what others will not. And that's the real secret Machiavelli understood. The modern world doesn't bind you with chains. It binds you with softness, pleasure, and distraction. Escape it, embrace discomfort, and suddenly you are unstoppable. 7. what awakened men look like. Once you finally see the game for what it truly is, everything about you changes, from the way you move to the way people experience your presence. You stop reacting emotionally to every slight, every insult, every setback. Instead, you respond strategically. You measure, you observe, you act with intent. You stop chasing people's attention. You stop begging for approval. Instead, you attract, not by trying, but by being grounded, by being solid, by being unshakable. You stop explaining yourself endlessly. Your words become measured. Your silence becomes powerful. Your actions speak louder than explanations ever could. You stop being everywhere all the time. You become scarce, deliberate, selective. And scarcity carries weight. It commands notice. It draws eyes without effort. You stop trying to impress people. You stop performing. Instead, you focus on building something that naturally impresses: your skill, your discipline, your presence, your achievements. And then the subtle shift begins. People notice it before they can articulate it. Something about you feels different. You're no longer the man who can be swayed by flattery or pressure. You're harder to manipulate. You're self-directed. You're someone who commands respect without demanding it. This transformation is quiet. It doesn't scream. It doesn't need to. It's felt in glances, in pauses, in the way people adjust their behavior around you. It's in the recognition that they're no longer interacting with a man who simply reacts, but with a man who moves the pieces. And the most remarkable part? This power, this presence, this strategic aura is not built overnight. It is forged quietly, deliberately, through understanding, discipline, and clarity. Once you step into this version of yourself, you can never go back, and the world around you begins to shift in ways you never thought possible. 8. Real-life applications. In your career, most men live in a dangerous illusion. That effort alone is enough. The naive man works tirelessly, hoping hard work will be noticed. The awakened man understands the full game. Visibility matters, alliances matter, perception matters. Effort without awareness is wasted energy. In social dynamics, the naive man avoids conflict, bending over backward to be liked. He mistakes agreement for influence, politeness for power. The awakened man sees the truth. Boundaries are the foundation of respect. You don't earn influence by pleasing everyone. You earn it by standing firm where it counts. In relationships, the naive man believes that constant availability equals loyalty. He gives too much, seeks approval, and confuses compliance with connection. The awakened man knows that independence generates value. Being self-directed, having your own mission, your own standards, that is what commands respect and sustains attraction. In personal growth, the naive man chases comfort, avoids challenges, and waits for opportunity to come to him. The awakened man seeks improvement relentlessly, embraces struggle, and understands that discomfort is the forge of strength. He does not wait for life to reward him. He positions himself to shape it. This is not about manipulation. It's not about cruelty. It's not about cunning tricks or deceit. This is about awareness. Awareness of the hidden rules, the invisible hierarchies, the patterns beneath the surface. Awareness of cause and effect in human behavior, of how respect, influence, and power are earned, not given. Awareness of your own agency in a world that teaches compliance, comfort, and passivity. When you see the world this way, everything changes. Your presence changes. Your decisions change. The way people respond to you changes. You are no longer playing by the illusions everyone else believes in. You are awake. You are intentional. You are finally in the game, not a pawn, but a player. And once you reach this level of clarity, there's no going back. Life rewards those who are awake. It bends for those who act with awareness, and it reveals its hidden paths to those who choose to see. 9. The responsibility of power. Machiavelli has been misunderstood for centuries. For generations, people whispered his name as if it were a curse. They said he celebrated deceit, glorified manipulation, and taught men to be ruthless. They were wrong. He did not write to teach cruelty. He wrote to reveal reality. He wrote so that ordinary men, the ones without armies or titles, could survive in a world ruled by the powerful. He stripped away illusions. He pulled back the curtain. He showed how power truly operates. Not as the textbooks claimed, not as the fairy tales promised, but as it actually is. And that knowledge is dangerous, not because it turns men evil, but because once you see the rules, the game, the invisible currents shaping every room you enter, you are faced with a choice. Power comes with responsibility. You can use this awareness to build, to create, to protect, to strengthen yourself and others. Or you can use it to destroy, to manipulate, exploit, and dominate without purpose. You can become wise, a man who moves deliberately, strategically, unshakably, shaping his life with clarity and intent. Or you can become ruthless, a man who sees opportunity but has no moral compass, a man whose strength isolates him, whose ambition corrupts him. Machiavelli did not give you instructions to follow blindly. He gave you a map, a lens to understand reality. But how you walk that path, that is entirely up to you. And this is the hardest truth of all. The world does not reward innocence. It does not protect naivety. It responds only to those who see clearly, act deliberately, and understand the forces at play. So, the question is no longer, can I succeed? The question is, what kind of man will I become with this knowledge? Will I use it to rise responsibly, to lead wisely, to forge a life of substance? Or will I let it consume me, turning strategy into selfishness, clarity into coldness? The choice is yours. Machiavelli handed you the truth. What you do with it will define everything. Now that you've seen the game for what it truly is, ask yourself, will you remain a spectator, or will you step into the arena as a player? Machiavelli didn't teach manipulation. He taught clarity, strategy, and survival. The moment you understand the hidden rules, everything changes. If you found value in this video, like, comment, and share your thoughts below. How will you use this knowledge in your life? Don't forget to subscribe to Machiavelli's Code for more insights that cut through the illusions and show the real paths to power and influence. Remember, seeing the game is the first step. Mastering it is the choice you make. See you in the next video.